So, yep, it's gonna happen. Last time I did a video in my car, the other car, we talked about something that we couldn't really talk all that much about, but I brought to you something that was being talked about to be developed for Rack-Off token, which is on the Terra Classic network, and that would benefit greatly both Rack-Off and Lunk. I warned that it was just in talks. A lot of logistics needed to be worked out. Things needed to be figured out, right? Those talks have pretty much concluded, and now we're moving into phase two. Phase two being the development of this thing. We have an approximate time frame of somewhere. I'm sorry, I'm driving, so I'm just being careful. Approximate time frame of this summer, midsummer. I could get more specific, but I'm not going to, because I know how these things work. Every time somebody gives you a date, so many things can affect a date of actually launching something that's being developed in crypto. We see it all the time. And so I don't really want to get that specific. As we get closer to completion and launch, we'll be able to be more specific. This thing will be developed in milestones. And as the milestones are reached, I will bring that information to you. But I am obviously being extremely vague. And some people might say, well, it's kind of tough to get excited about something that we don't really know what it is. But this is just, it's going to happen out of the box, right? It's going to happen differently than everything else that has been attempted thus far on Terra Classic. And for good reason. I think it has to go down this way, right? I'm in a group, kind of a private DM group with a bunch of people who are invested or involved in some way with Rack-Off token, Rack-Off validator. And we were talking this morning about where Terra Classic has come in the last couple years. And I brought up how it started and how I'm actually really sad, very, very sad, because when the Terra Rebels were formed, and everybody, thought that the chain was absolutely dead, but these guys came up and all of a sudden breathed new life, and everyone had hope again. And we were going to restore governance. And once governance was restored, that was it. Everything was going to take off from there. Everything would be back on its feet. There was unity in this community. There was a single focus, and it was reviving the chain, making people whole as possible that lost a ton, right? And that dream got co-opted by greedy people, by power-hungry people, by a bunch of different factions that, basically saw an opportunity to kind of try to take some sort of control or whatever, and be the big dog, be the hero, make some money. And the biggest mistake, one of the biggest mistakes that I feel like a lot of people made, was as they've tried to do things on the chain, they announce it. Now, I understand, not necessarily a mistake. Some of it was required, because if you're going to build something on Terra Classic for Terra Classic, right? There are governance issues. You got to get it approved from the community. And in some cases, there were funding situations, right? So if you're looking for funding from the chain, that has to be approved. And so everybody needs to know what's going on. But in this case, this is being built for Rack-Off, right? We're talking L2 stuff, not L1. Nothing is being asked of the Terra Classic community at all. as far as anything, as far as resources, as far as financing, nothing at all. And so this can stay under wraps, because every time something is attempted to try to advance that chain, and you have to kind of go to everybody and say, this is what we're doing, this is how it's going to work, spell it all out, all the other factions who didn't think of it first, or who have a different slant on it, they shit all over it constantly. And so for the community who isn't really as technically minded as the people who are actually building, right? They just see chaos. They get confused. They believe whoever they happen to follow, right? So if something good is being built, but somebody that they follow says, no, that's bad, and they have their agenda and their ulterior motives, right? The people who are following them say, well, they said it was bad, it must be bad. And we go back and forth, and proposals are made, and things are developed, and then a proposal comes along that cancels that. Avoiding all that with this, avoiding all that. We have a team of people who are going to be building this thing. And it is our intention that they build it in absolute peace, as fast and as tidy and as accurate as possible, without the distractions that usually come in and screw everything up. I remember, just quickly, when I was on the Community Oversight Committee for the L1 development team at that point, one of the major issues we had was people on that L1 team spending their time on Twitter arguing and fighting with everybody in the community about this, that, and the other thing, when the fact of the matter is we needed them to be focused on the task at hand. And even though there was a leader of sorts who was supposed to handle all the PR stuff, those guys couldn't help but get involved because they were being challenged at every turn, and egos and whatever else, they felt like they needed to defend themselves, and it was a shit show, right? Avoiding all that by not coming out and saying, this is what we're doing, this is what's being built, this is how it's going to happen. Just can't do it, right? And so it'll be built well, it will benefit everybody, and I'm just letting you know about it. That's all. I'm letting you know something's happening. You do whatever you want to do with that information. It is absolutely perfectly valid to say, well, I mean, I'm not going to jump in and spend any money and invest in anything on, with this level of information, right? Because Trev could be nuts. This could be nothing, right? I get it. Absolutely valid. But I at least, and I believe the team feels this way too, and I'm not on the team, right? I'm just kind of, chilling with them, right? I believe the team feels this way too. We want to let you know that something major is happening, because we want to at least give you the opportunity to make the choice, if you choose, to maybe grab some rack off or grab some more lunk or whatever, right? If that's what you decide to do. I'm not advising you to do that. I can't advise you to do that. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just letting you know something's happening. And it's going to be huge. It's going to be the greatest. I don't want to get all Trump on you. Anyway, so that's what's going to happen. And I'm really sorry that we can't really give you more information, but it's the way it has to be. It just is, right? So as much information as we can, when we can, we will get it to you. But this is for everyone who's asking questions, why you being so secret squirrel about it, whatever. A lot of different reasons, but the main one is just peace. That's all. All right, y'all. I will talk to y'all soon. Ciao.